O Parvardigar,
Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Ki Jai. O Parvardigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You are indivisible, and none can see you but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the Creator, the Lord of Lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and you are knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parmeshwar. You are the beyond God and the beyond God also. You are Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yazdan, Ahura Mazda, and God the Beloved. You are named Izad, the only one worthy of worship. Tar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Ashok ji. Ashok ji, are you there?
Yeah, Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. The prayer of repentance. We repent, O God most merciful, for all our sins, for every thought that was false or unjust or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word and thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent especially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for every lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also, we repent for every action that has brought ruin to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should be for others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all the sins committed by us, and to forgive us for our constant failures to think and speak and act according to your will.
Amita ji, do you want to read?
I'll read the book.
Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more, and more and more, and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you. And help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
So we are supposed to read from page 1092. You could start now.
I'm starting from first two lines. We'll leave the next,
Yeah.
the first paragraph. Babu Ram Prasad asked Baba to visit his residence, but Baba declined to do so. However, he promised he could come again and visit his home. Perhaps this was the moment when Baba first disclosed his intention of revisiting Hamirpur, which he did in February 1954. During the second visit, the man who broke the rep- repented before Baba for his action. Baba not only forgave him but also very lovingly embraced him. Political and spiritual aspects of life. After Nauranga, Baba visited Jarakhar, where Sripat Sahe Rawat, also known
Yeah.
as Shri Bhai, was Baba's host. Before continuing the account of the Darshan tour, I feel it will be interesting and fitting to narrate the circumstances under which Baba drew Sh- Shri Bhai into his orbit of love. Sunil, move the page. Such stories are part and parcel of Baba's visit, for in them are the roots of Baba's first darshan tour in the district of Hamirpur. From the early 40s, Sri Bhai had been a staunch revolutionary, fighting the British for India's independence. Being an orator of the first order, he would incite the masses against British rule. The British government wanted him so badly that a reward of 1,500 rupees was offered for him dead or alive. His colleagues therefore advised Sri Bhai to leave the British territory and retreat to a small state governed by an Indian Raja. During one of his early morning walks, while in exile in his state, Sri Bhai happened to see a certain bird, the Kanjum bird, which was rarely seen in that area during that particular time of the year. He reported this unusual event to one of his religious minded friends, who told him this sighting heralded a coveted spiritual fortune. He would soon come in contact with a God realized master. Although impressed with the prospect of meeting a master, Sri Bhai did not pay much attention to the possibility. Move the page. After some days, he went to Nagpur, of course incognito, and stayed with a friend who was an active member of Indian National Congress. From his youth, Sri Bhai had been interested in Raj Yoga and Hatha Yoga. While in Nagpur, he attended a meeting conducted by a local yogi. When he returned to where he was staying, he told his friend about the yogic practices that were mentioned in the lecture. Hearing this, his friend asked him frankly, "Is it possible to pursue both spirituality and politics at one and the same time?" After a little discussion, Sri Bhai said that he had always felt that they were compatible. To this his friend quickly responded, "If you really feel this way, then why bother going to a half-baked potato, the person who has lectured on yogic practices, when there is Meher Baba?" As at Sri Bhai's request, his friend gave him the address of Dr. C.D. Deshmukh, one of Baba's disciples who was living in Nagpur. However, when he went there, instead of meeting Deshmukh, Sri Bhai happened to meet Baba Das. On his advice, Bhai immediately wrote a letter to Adi K. Irani with a request for Baba's darshan. After a few days, he received a reply that Baba was at Mehrabad and was soon expected to come out of his seclusion. When Baba Das learned the contents of this letter, he suggested that Sri Bhai not waste any more time but go immediately to Mehrabad and try his luck. He gladly agreed to take this risk. So, late one evening, Sri Bhai reached Mehrabad in a simple Indian clothes generally worn by Indian farmers. He expressed his desire to the mandali to have Baba's darshan. No one was allowed to stay at Mehrabad for the night without Baba's permission. So Sidhu went up the hill to tell Baba about the new visitor. Without asking any specific information, Baba instructed Sidhu to take good care of the guest, and he gestured, "One of my people." This was a bit surprising to Sidhu, since only a day earlier a Raja from one of the states in Rajasthan had come to Mehrabad and asked but to see Baba, but had been flatly refused. Such incidents testify to Baba's remarks that his connections with us are not just of one lifetime. Next morning, Baba came down to the hill, and Sri Bhai saw him as he made his way to Rahuri Keban. The first glimpse of Baba made an indelible impression on Sri Bhai's heart. From that moment, he felt that the most important thing he could do was to lead a purely spiritual life and forget about politics. Baba motioned for him to come in and gestured, "Take darshan," without touching my feet. Then Baba asked Sri Bhai what brought him here to Mehrabad, and later asked him to briefly relate his life history. Such opportunities were meant to make one feel close to Baba's divine presence. At the end of his narration, Baba conveyed, "I am happy about your honest seeking for the real. I am pleased with you. Ask me what you want. You will get it, but express your wish in one sentence." Sri Bhai was overwhelmed with Baba's love and compassion. On the spur of the moment, he said, "Spiritual advancement." For a moment, Baba looked serious. After a while, he gestured, "Granted." Baba continued, "You say that the conflict between political and spiritual life is now resolved, as you do not want to involve yourself further in politics. Turn yourself in to the police authorities. Send a telegram to this effect to the district magistrate of Hamirpur." It was a moment of decision, for Sri Bhai was on one of the top leaders of the revolutionary group. He, however, decided to follow Baba's orders. On his way back to Hamirpur, Sri Bhai got down at a small railway station to meet a friend. After walking some distance, he noticed that his wallet with his money in it was missing. He had become penniless. In a mood of dejection, his mind questioned Baba's authority as the avatar, and it remons- remonstrated, "How can I take you as my master when you cannot even keep me from losing my wallet?" Instead, a silly thought, but to a confused mind, many things seemed to make sense. Just then, he clearly heard a voice within him say, "Return to the station and search." So he made his way back to the station. By the time he reached its two trains and a lot of passengers had come and gone, he walked around looking at random for his wallet, but thought there was no chance it could still be there. Luckily, as he happened to walk by the ticket window, to his great surprise, he saw his wallet. It was lying there in plain sight of anyone purchasing a ticket, and could have been easily picked up. Who concealed it from the sight of the crowd? Who had spoken within him? None but God, Baba had concluded, and his failing faith was again filled to the brim of his heart. Who, who, what a question! If With every who the mind poses, the heart were to reply, God, how wonderful it would be. A big hurdle could be removed and the real journey would begin. Sri Bhai proceeded to Hamirpur and turned himself in. He severed his connections with politics, but he was still put into jail as political prisoner. It was here that Keshav Nigam had hot discussions with Sri Bhai on the subject of Meher Baba being the avatar. Later, Sri Bhai also talked with Pukar and the Nigams about Baba. He was the first person from Hamirpur district to have Meher Baba's darshan and the first who accepted him as the avatar.
Jai
Darshan,
Baba.
yeah, Baba.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to meet Sripat Rai Sayaji at Meherpuri, Hamirpur, and I consulted. Actually, he was also used to prescribe Ayurvedic medication for regular stuff. So I had consulted him, and he had given me some medical prescriptions also on my stomach problems and all that. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah, Baba. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, digestion problems. Yeah, Jai Baba. Just
Hey, Baba Sanjay ji, he
yeah,
just Shri Bhai used some other name.
yeah. Shribai, Shripat Sahai Rawat was his name,
Acha, Shri
popularly called as Shribai. Yeah. By that time, he was already very aged. I mean, I'm talking of 88, 89. Those years. He was still alive. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Yeah, Baba. Darshan scenes during Baba's visit to Jhankar were not very different from those witnessed at other villages. I have earlier mentioned that before coming to Baba, Sri Bhai's heart was often pulled between the political and spiritual aspects of life. So instead of narrating the details of the darshan, I prefer to quote one of Meher Baba's messages given during his fairy life with the caption Religion and Politics. The fairy life, which as God ordained has commenced from November 15th, makes me plunge into my divine mission of bringing the life in the truth to everyone without allowing it to be limited or colored by the illusion of duality. As the divine life embraces in its being one and all, including even the members of the animal and vegetable kingdom, and since from the moment of the attainment of Manonash, annihilation of the limited mind, I have attained complete unity with that immeasurably and illimitably divine life. I cannot and will not identify myself with any caste, creed, religion, or political party. From my point of view, all religions are great, but God is greater. In the same way, all political parties are in their own way noble, at least in their consciously accepted objectives. But the claims of the undivided and indivisible life are irresistibly supreme, and as such greater than those of any party, howsoever noble. So I love and adore all religions, but I am of no religion, nor do I seek to establish another religion or add to the numberless illusions that divide man against man. No religion was ever intended to be anything more than the gateway to God as truth, but every religion has, in the course of time, gotten converted into a veil, obstructing the undimmed perception of that one truth. As soon as the truth of direct inner realization is intellectualized and formulated, it gets enmeshed in creeds and dogmas. They have a tendency to build the soul in a very attempt to emancipate it. They cover the truth in the very act of seeking to express it.
Bind the soul.
The truth act of
They have a, they have a tendency to bind the soul.
yeah, they have a tendency to bind the soul in the very attempt to emancipate it. They cover the truth in a very act of seeking to express it. Jai Baba, any discussions here on various religions? Everybody agrees with Baba. Yes. First Hamirpur Darshan tour ends. Baba's Hamirpur Darshan tour was 10 days long. By the time he reached Jankar, more than a week had
Jharakhar.
passed.
It is pronounced Zarakhar.
Okay, he reached
Zarakhar.
Zarakar more
Yeah.
than a week had passed, so before closing the account of his visit, it will not be considered amiss if I relate some stories, Leelas, which reveal different aspects of Baba's divine personality and also illustrate the love of people of Hamirpur for Baba. As I am not certain of the sequence of these incidents, I have grouped them together at the end. There was an old man, a tantric, who had heard of Baba's 5 years earlier. He was so touched with Baba's picture and his message of love that he gave up his tantric practices and began to love Baba as the avatar of the age. He was looking forward to the opportunity of having Baba's darshan, which had been arranged near his village. But unfortunately, he got his times confused and arrived at a darshan scene only to learn that Baba had just left by car. Although it seemed impossible, he began to run in the direction Baba had gone in the hope of catching up with him. A fantastic idea.
This is the
But
cross is 82. Sorry.
uh,
Sunilji, can you go back to the part you read? Said? Yeah,
yeah,
there is
footnote.
footnote 82. Yes.
Sorry.
One who follows Tantra, a science of esoteric or occult practices. This is the Tantric we read above. So, this was the footnote. But Baba, the all knowing one who was riding in the car miles ahead, asked the driver, under some pretext, to stop the car. He told the driver to wait for some time by the side of the road. This was Baba's wish, and no one questioned it. Some time passed, and as night fell, Baba's people saw someone running in their direction. It was the old tantric. It seemed that before he reached Baba, his one pointed love had reached the heart of the avatar. The man looked extremely happy to see Baba. He was breathless, for he had run many miles. Baba asked him to stand still until he regained his normal breathing. In that brief sahwas, the old man opened his heart to Baba and had his unforgettable moment with Baba. Baba very lovingly blessed him, and the car moved on. Again, the man uh, again, the man began to run after it, and Baba had to order him to stop. The pull of the Godman's love is maddening. Another example of Baba's omniscience and compassion, as witnessed by a disciple, is given below in his own words. He writes, one extremely poor old couple in the village of Amarpura who lived in a hovel far outside the village, were determined to do their share in the welcoming of the Master. The man spent what little he had in having a small raised square built in front of his hut in order to receive Baba. In spite of his wife's doubt of Baba's coming out of his way to their humble dwelling, when there were so many better houses in the village itself, and when they were and in spite of the fact that they had they also had not the courage to invite Baba, the old man was sure that his love would draw the master to him. The day of the mass darshan in village being over, Baba and his party followed part of the way, as usual by the crowd, proceeded the next morning to their Justin town. But instead of taking the usual road, Baba insisted, to everyone's surprise, on taking the little used path lying almost in the opposite direction. After a, after a time, he had the car stopped and getting down, went straight to a mean looking little hut. It was the home of old couple who could only sob in their happiness. Baba embraced them both and seated himself on the erected square to be garlanded. He had accepted their heart's tribute. It was only after receiving the next village that Baba's men heard the whole story of this love and faith. Dhanori is a small village with a population of 2,000 people. They all loved Baba so deeply that on October 16, 1951, the day when Baba began his Manonash phase, the entire village observed fast. They also in, invoked God for the God man's success in his concluding work of the new life. One can imagine the naive delight and fervor of the villagers, both men and women, to find the beloved of their heart physically in their midst. It was in response to such a wholehearted reception that Baba once remarked that the devotion of his lovers in the district of Hamirpur touched his universal heart. During his tour, Baba happened to visit a small school in a village. All the children were given the privilege of having Baba's darshan. At the close of this program, Baba lovingly stroked the cheek of one child. Seeing this, the rest of the children insisted that they should also be blessed in the same way. Baba looked amused and he graciously consented to grant this common demand. All the children filed past in a single line and each received the enviable precious pat from the avatar. It must have been such a beautiful sight, I can only imagine. In the period of 10 days, Baba visited the following 17 places in the district of Hamirpur town, Sumarpur, Inghota, Mandhala, Mehwa, Mahoba, Panwari, Rat, Nauranga, Majwan,
Majgawa,
Majgawa, Jarakhar,
Jarakhar, Dhagwa,
Gharwan,
Dhagwa.
Dagwa,
Yeah,
Amirpura, Tola,
Amarpura, Amarpura.
Amarpura, Tola Kangaram,
Yeah,
Dhanuri,
Dhanauri
Dhanauri, and
and Banda.
Banda. You
Banda is
know
a
all these
district
places?
actually.
You know all
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
places?
Yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah. I have not gone everywhere, but I, of course, know the places because यहाँ पर there are regular Baba programs that keep happening.
I
See,
see.
yeah. Maudaha, actually, it is Mandaha written. Actually, it is Maudaha, M-A-U, which I showed last time. Uh, that was Ingota, actually. And after that is Maudaha, M-A-U-D-A-H-A. It is actually, it is not typed correctly.
I
And
see.
Mahewa is Mehrastana, where that hut is there, which we saw. Yeah, Jai Baba.
I see. The last place was Harpalpur, where Baba was
Yes,
taken in
yes.
a colorful procession. To give a general picture of the response given by the public to Baba, I have included some excerpts below from Irich's letter dated 8th December 1952, addressed to Baba lovers in Andhra Pradesh. He wrote, Dear brothers of Andhra, first let me express to you all that the love feast that were all experienced Hamirpur district, throughout Hamirpur district falls short of any length of descriptive letters. It was a it was a sight and scene for the really fortunate ones to witness through physical presence. From Hamirpur, we proceeded to many other centers of darshan program. Even on the roadside, there were unforgettable love scenes where loving public, all anxious for the holy darshan of the avatar, actually blocked the regular route and road and force very lovingly to divert Sri Baba's route through villages where the inhabitants were awaiting his arrival, anticipating with complete faith that their love would surely bring their dear Baba to them. Although they knew that their place was not included in the program and the centers. Sri Baba bowed down to their love and submitted to their fervent appeals. Although it was extremely tiresome for Sri Baba, it was the love of his lovers that often made him go against his own fixed rules and principles chalked out to us at Mehrabad. It was one complete 10-day serial love drama. He's talking about a serial love drama at that time, where the beloved showered love and the lovers got completely drenched in love. The first incredible darshan tour of the fairy free life, which began at Hamirpur with a most cordial reception on November 18th, ended with a grand procession at Harpalpur on November 27th, 1952. These 10 days will be remembered as the matchless manifestation of Avatar's compassion dispensed to villagers who did not come to hear any discourse from him, only to receive his love, the kernel of spiritual life. Jai Baba. What is the
Jai.
condition of these villages now? Are they
They are
economically good?
still in the remote areas. Of course, now the roads are accessibility has become better. Earlier, it used to be kacha roads. Like when I visited Maheba for the first time about 1989, 90. I mean, the road was like, you have to hold we went by a bullock cart, and you have to hold the frame of the bullock cart so that you can stay on the bullock cart, because
You
the
don't
road was so
topple.
bad, so bad, and it was so dusty. By the time you reach there, your all face is full with dust and hair, everything, that way. Even after my marriage, I think 94 or sometime, even Dolly and I went, and it was the same situation. But now the roads have become, you can drive up to the village. uh, but inside village, you still have kacha houses, pakka houses also, everything is there. But the love is still there. I mean, this place around Hamirpur is actually quite spiritually charged. Even during the first visit, as we read, Baba has said this place is, I have been here before. And in the next visit in 1954, he also went to Ichaura. There is a village called Ichaura, where was a Baba lover called Prabhu Khare. And then he was, I think, quite advanced aspirant, and then probably he used to see light and these things. Prabhu Dayal Khare was his full name. And Baba reached that village on a boat. There was no access to the village from by driving. You have to, cross the river on a boat and then go to the village. And Baba had taken out his foot and put it into the water, his toe, and said that this uh, this is the modern Ganga. Some such statement is there. This is very pure. So that village is also very beautiful. I think it will come in a later description in the second visit of Baba, where in Maheva he declared in February 1954 that he was the avatar of the age in the middle of the night of 9th and 10th, intervening between 9th and 10th of February. Jai Baba.
How is the economic condition of these people?
I mean, it's mixed now. Of course, things have improved. People have motorcycles, people have cycles, people move around, people have moved out of these villages and working elsewhere. So, of course, things have improved. But there are also people who are poor. But I think During those days, that what we call as poor now and poor them was quite different. They were really destitute level people actually in those times, 1950s. Now, of course, economic conditions have improved, but yes, still they cannot be called rich or anything. Not even medium, middle class. They are still need to earn to survive their lives.
Is there a history of any avatars or sadgurus in
Yeah.
that area?
So one history is near Banda. You have that Chitrakoot where
Mm-hmm.
Rama was there. And we
Right.
read in the early when you read the places Rama. So I mean, from Ayodhya, if you go towards Banda, Chitrakoot, of course, Rama went walking. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the only route that he must have taken those times.
I
So,
see.
and there are
Mm-hmm.
some saints also in that area. One Roti Ram Baba, which is near the Ingota. On that road, he had his ashram, and there are many other old temples and
Mm-hmm.
names that you hear
Mm-hmm.
of
Right.
these spiritually advanced people. Yeah.
People. Mm. Anybody else wants to read now? Namita, Sanjay ji,
Yeah, sure.
Ashok ji?
Yeah, Java, sure. Thank you for it.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
would you like to read, or I can read also?
Mhm. Yeah. You can read maybe.
All
Now we
right.
are coming
Okay.
to Nagpur. Yeah. Jai Baba.
So this is Delhi, Khuldabad,
Gulzarbad.
Amravati, Saoner, and Nagpur.
Yeah.
1952, Part 10.
Right.
Pukar finds an ideal boy.
Yes.
From Harpalpur, Baba went to Jhansi with his mandali. After a day's stay over, he proceeded for Delhi, arriving there by train on the morning of November 29th. Baba lovers very warmly received their beloved Baba. He was driven straight to the residence of Vasdev Kane, 16, President Estate, New Delhi. In his new life phase, Baba had visited Delhi in May 1950 for 3 days. At that time, he had stayed in Kane's place for 2 nights along with Irij. On that visit, as soon as Baba's car reached the house, Kane had been instructed to turn off the outside lights until Baba was in his room. However, this time it was quite different as he had come to give darshan to public. Those accompanying Baba were taken to 10 Tagore Road, where Harjivan Lal's son was staying. Kane and Harjivan were Baba's hosts in Delhi. After having a wash and breakfast, the Mandali set out for Baba's residence. But due to some problems with their bus, they arrived late. This annoyed Baba since it meant he could not begin his work with the poor at the appointed hour. When all had finally arrived, Baba carried out this work, the way it had been done at Hamirpur. Then he went out with Baidul to contact the the fools of God who roamed about in certain suburbs of India's capital. In the afternoon at 2, there was a private program at Kane's house primarily for Baba lovers. Prabha Kane performed an appealing kirtan. Some Hindi bhajans of Mirabai, Kabir, and other saints were sung to the accompaniment of harmonium and tabla, Indian drums. In the midst of singing, Baba dictated from his board, "Be true, be honest to your own self and to God." Perhaps this was a kernel of bhajans being sung. Baba seemed to enjoy this program and at the end distributed laddus, sweets as prasad to all those who were present. While this program was going on, Pukar was busy in Delhi on a special mission. During the gathering at Mehrabad, one of Baba's instructions to the program walas was that the Mandli's residence should not be far away from Baba's, for he might need them suddenly at any time. But because Delhi is a sprawling metropolitan city covering an enormous area, this particular instruction could not be adequately adhered to. It so happened that on the morning of the first day, The vehicle carrying Baba's people from 10 Tagore Road to 16 President Estate broke down along the way. Baba was so displeased at this, and his mood was so upset that the program walas feared he might cut short his stay in Delhi. No one tried to argue with Baba, but those concerned with the transportation arrangements apologized for their faults. In the end, Baba suggested that if Pukar could find and bring a boy who met certain specifications, he would then wash the boy's feet to compensate for the delay in his service to the poor caused by the mandali's late arrival. Pukar expressed his readiness and asked Baba for more details concerning the boy. Baba continued he should be between 16 and 18 years of age, a lover of God, obedient to his parents, first class in his studies, and he should have a pure heart. It seemed that Baba wanted to contact an ideal boy in Delhi, but Baba didn't give Pukar any hints on how he was supposed to find such a boy. When Pukar, undaunted, decided to start his search immediately, Baba further ordered him to wait until he had his lunch, thus curtailing the time at Pukar's disposal. After a hurried meal, Pukar started out on this incredible pursuit along with Dr. Daulat Singh and Baba Das. Daulat Singh was a strongly built person in his 50s with an impressive personality. Baba Das was losing hair and had a flowing white beard. He was wearing a white kafni. It must have been a sight to see these three together. They decided to begin their search by contacting the principal of a college. This turned out, this visit turned out surprisingly well as the principal patiently heard what they had to say. And although their request was perhaps unusual, he was very cooperative and offered his help. He told Pukar that he knew of a boy studying in his college who fit the requirements. The boy was called into principal's office. He respectfully listened to Pukar and then responded by saying, I understand your request, but before I can accompany you, I must have the permission of my parents. Pukar was very pleased with the boy's response because it fulfilled one of Baba's requirements. So they hurried off to the boy's house. The father of the boy readily agreed with Pukar's request to take the boy to Baba, but his mother flatly refused. She was of the firm opinion that it was utterly improper on the part of her son to allow a person of high spiritual status to bow down at his feet and to give him money. On the contrary, she thought it would be more appropriate for her son to place his head on the feet of such a person and give him whatever money the family could conveniently afford. The trio tried to convince her but failed. So at last, with great disappointment, they left the house. They again thought of going to the principal, but the time was running short and they could not decide what to do. As they were walking, Pukar saw a boy coming along the road. Desperate, Pukar started talking with him on the off chance that he might come close to fulfilling the qualifications that had been laid down by Baba. Pukar asked him his age and some other questions. From the answers the boy gave, it seemed that he fit Baba's requirement even more than the first boy. So Pukar told him that he should come with them to Meher Baba, who would bow down to him and give him a certain amount of money as prasad. Instead of agreeing to accompany them, the boy replied he must first have the consent of his parents. After his earlier experience, because the time was so short, Pukar decided that it was too risky to visit boy's parents, so instead of he lovingly pleaded with the youngster, believe us, don't think we are going to deceive or harm you. We are elderly people like your parents, so why not ask our permission instead? Perhaps at this moment, Baba turned the key for to Pukar's astonishment. The boy willingly agreed and asked Daulat Singh's and Baba Das's permission to visit Baba. The trio was amazed at how all of this had come about, and that too in the most natural way. When they reached 16 President Estate with the boy, Baba looked pleased and bowed down to the teenager's feet. He also gave him 51 rupees, which the boy accepted very reverentially. Pukar and the others heaved a sigh of relief because Baba's mood was restored, and now they felt all the programs at Delhi would go well. I have narrated this event in detail to show one of the Baba's method of accomplishing his inner spiritual work through creating some seemingly insurmountable obstacles and then helping those doing their best to obey him to overcome them. At first glance, Baba's instructions to Pukar might appear to some as capricious, but the ensuing results clearly reveal that they were anything but. In trying to obey Baba, one sometimes has to pass through moments of doubt or confusion, but these are followed by unexpected events through which the will of the God-man gracefully operates for the deeper awakening of one's love for him. An illustrious scholar meets Baba. The next 2 days, November 30th and December 1st, were scheduled for public darshan at 10 Tagore Road, New Delhi. A big shamiana awning with decorative cloth was erected outside Harjivan's residence. Baba's devotees in Delhi and people in general availed themselves of this opportunity to be in Baba's Sahibas in the mornings and in the evenings. During these gatherings, the following two messages from Baba were given to the public. Rituals and ceremonies. The diverse rituals and ceremonies of different religions and cults are intended to release divine love, but they mostly bind the soul to the repetitive mechanism of expressive forms. Attachment to the rigid forms of external expression of love to God not only limit the love itself, but create separative divisions between one religion and another. Therefore, the rituals and ceremonies often bind the soul to ignorance and illusory separateness and become an obstacle to real illumination. The true spiritual aspirant is therefore more keen about the inner life. Inner life is based on love for God, and it is this love that annihilates all desires, keeping in only one desire and longing, that of union with beloved God. He has no obsession for expressing his reverence in any set forms. Such obsessions twist the real life. A free soul is never in, obsessions entangled in any of these inessentials and never allows itself to be overpowered by its separative tendencies released by attachment to rituals and ceremonies. God and the universe. Ordinary persons are caught up in the universe and its allurements, but the entire universe is nothing but a shadow of God or truth. The masters are always immersed in the joy of union with God and can never be caught up in the mazes of the illusory universe. Just as ordinary, we do not pay any attention to the shadows, the masters do not pay any attention to the universe except to divert the attention of humanity from the shadow to the substance. Dr. Niranjan Singh, the principal of Camp College, learned of Baba's visit to Delhi from Kane. He was a distinguished scholar in chemistry. Previously, he had been the head of chemistry department and the dean of the science faculty of Punjab University. He was also interested in spirituality. He accepted Baba as a great spiritual personality, but not as the avatar, God in human form. On Kane's invitation, he came to have Baba's darshan. How many people he would touch at every place, I'm amazed, I thought my grandfather was closest to Baba and he would be everywhere and this and that. But even in Delhi, in those few days, there's so many people that were around him, and everybody has had some experience or the other. That's Baba's special ways. Some people were sitting in front of Baba and some were in line for darshan. Dr. Niranjan Singh was introduced to Baba and he gestured for him to sit down. After a while, Baba pointed to a piece of paper which was rolled up like a pencil. That peeked out of Niranjan Singh's pocket. Baba gestured. What's that? The learned doctor, as he was trying to unroll the paper, said, I have some questions for you to answer. Baba smilingly gestured for him to put the paper back and added, if you come tomorrow, I will answer each and every question. Niranjan Singh dared not to say anything. He might have felt a bit dejected, but he was lucky to receive an invitation to visit from Avatar himself. Later, Baba, of his own, opened a conversation with his learned visitor and casually stated, I'm told that you are the principal of the largest college in Delhi. Why don't you invite me to your college? Niranjan Singh looked startled at Baba's request. Instead of answering his subtle questions, perhaps Baba had put to him a subtler problem. The reply was not easy. He said, Baba, you know, these days that the younger generation in the college is not interested in spirituality. The boys scoff at saints and lovers of God. Besides, there are some hooligans among them who behave like monkeys. They sometimes insult and hoot at the guests. And I do not want you to be insulted. Will you please excuse me for not inviting you? Baba knowingly smiled and gestured, as you please. The next morning, Niranjan Singh came again. This time he was accompanied by his wife. This was completely unexpected, for she was one of the orthodox Sikhs. But the previous night, she had a very moving dream about Meher Baba that revealed his divinity to her. On their arrival, they quietly sat at the back without disturbing anyone. They respectfully watched Baba's every move, and tears occasionally rolled down their cheeks. After some time, Baba signaled for them to come closer and sit near him. Then he asked Narenjit Singh, where is your yesterday's piece of paper? Now I'm in a mood to answer your questions. The principal folded his hands and said, today no questions, Baba. All of them have been answered. Baba looked delighted and made one of his special gestures of touching his forehead with his middle finger, meaning fortunate. Delhi, Kuldabad, Amravati, Sauner, Nagpur. The conversation was now like yesterday's, only in reverse. Niranjan Singh asked Baba to pay a visit to his college. With a puzzled look on his face, Baba gestured. But there are hooligans among the college students who act like monkeys. They will hoot me down and that will be an insult to you. With tears in his eyes, the principal asked Baba's pardon for what he had said. He again pleaded with Baba to grace the college with his presence and to bless the students. Finally, Baba consented to visit Camp College on December 2nd at 6 p.m. Naranjan Singh's meeting with Baba reminded the mandali of a casual remark Baba had made at Rath, Hamirpur district. To those gathered around him, he gestured, you won't find me in such a happy mood in Delhi. However, during my stay in capital, I will contact one intellectual giant. Dr. Naranjan Singh was indeed a genius. Dr. Niranjan Singh was indeed a genius. Clearly, Baba knew the principle before he gave him his physical darshan. Many a time Baba has told his lovers, I know you more than you can ever know yourself. Civic programs in Delhi. Baba's visit to Camp College was made known to the public through a special notice. political and social leaders, and sometimes eminent scholars would be invited by the college authorities to address the students. But the visit of a silent master was an unfamiliar occurrence for the collegians. A group of students thought of making a little mischief if Baba arrived late for the program. Unlike the big leaders, Baba's car reached the college campus just at the appointed time. The students saw Baba coming out of the car. They were so impressed by his divine demeanor that all thought of any mischief or scoffing at Baba were instantly shed. Instead, they formed a cordon and helped the mandali to take Baba to the dais. Niranjan Singh looked very happy as the program began. In his welcoming speech, he introduced Meher Baba and his spiritual greatness to students. His talk was very well received by the gathering, which numbered more than 200. After the speeches, the following two messages from Baba were given to students. Let us become the soldiers of God. Let us struggle for the truth. Let us live not for our own selves, but for others. Let us speak truly, think truly, and act truly. Let us be honest as God is infinite honesty. Let us return love for hatred and win over others to God. Let the world know that's above everything, the most dear to our hearts is God, the supreme reality. I give you my blessings for the attainment of this truth. Spiritual freedom. India has gained its national freedom. Let us now try to gain our spiritual freedom, besides which every other kind of freedom is a binding. Spiritual freedom is
Sunil,
more. Hanji.
hey Baba,
Every.
if you have the ability, the last part is a good message given to students. It can be underlined or highlighted. Or if you don't have, then
Mhm.
we'll tell Karthik to do it.
Yeah, I think it's better because my file will be saved on my.
Yeah, you
I can try, but I'm not sure.
can do it, and we can tell Karthik later. I think it's a good message for any teacher or anybody to give to students about spirituality.
Yeah.
Lovely. I found it very.
Sorry, I am
It's,
not
it's
as
okay.
familiar. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Perfectly okay.
I don't know what I did. So,
It's okay.
yeah,
Don't
let's
worry.
go for that. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry also.
No, no, don't worry. Yeah, it's fine. Sorry. So, spiritual freedom. India has gained its national freedom. Let us now try to gain our spiritual freedom, besides which every other kind of freedom is a binding. Spiritual freedom is marred by the bindings of lust, power, greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, and low desires. So there are quite a few: lust, power, greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, and low desires. Hmm. When the prisoner, when the prison of these bindings is a torn asunder, the heritage of freedom, which is born of infinite power, wisdom, peace, love, and bliss, is gained. To attain this freedom, we must realize God, who is the source of freedom. To realize God, we must love Him, losing ourselves in His infinite self. So usually, at least for me, I remember lust, greed, and anger, LGA. But there's power, there's hatred, there's jealousy, and low desires to be added. I think Kama has some acronyms for these, but I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember.
There's a acronym for lust, anger, and greed, and
Mhm.
lag. I have talked about this earlier, but we can add others and
Hmm. I'm not sure if we cover everything in lust, greed, and anger because Here, there's power, there's hatred. Is hatred covered in
Actually,
lust
yeah,
even?
the lust for power. See, I mean, is how you define it also. But इतने लंबा लिस्ट रखेगा पहले 3 पे फोकस करने का.
वो तीन हो गया,
It's had to
पासिंग
be
मार्क्स मिल
pinpointed.
जाएंगे.
Anger also comes out of frustration. It just comes out of lust and not being able to achieve what you are able to achieve. And same is with the anger and jealousy also the same. So lust, greed, anger is good enough to go for a few lives, I suppose.
To
Yeah,
get
and
pass marks.
Sanjay, you rightly said hatred and jealousy can be linked to
Yeah,
anger, sort of. I mean,
yeah. So it's okay. Yeah. Okay, Baba.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
good discussion. Yeah, bye. Jai Baba.
To attain this freedom, we must realize God, who is the source of freedom. To realize God, we must love Him, losing ourselves in His infinite self. अशोक जी, आपको पढ़ना है तो आप मुझे बता देना. Wait, I mixed up something. Sorry.
I can read what you do.
Infinite self. Sorry.
Infinite self is the last line usually.
Yes, yeah. You can start from here if you're okay to read. Otherwise, I can continue reading.
Yes, I can read. Is my voice clear?
Yes, pretty clear.
Yeah. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. We can love God through intense longing for union with Him. We can love Him by surrendering to the Sadguru, the perfect master, who is God's personal manifestation. We can also love God. We can also love God by loving our fellow men, by giving them happiness at the cost of our own happiness, by rendering them service at the sacrifice of our interests, and by dedicating our lives at the altar of selfless work for the downtrodden. When we love God intensely through any of these channels, we finally know Him to be our own self. So, this is the path towards how to attain, I mean, towards how to progress in the spirituality and to serve the others, especially the downtrodden. I just wanted to add that the stories earlier also shows how Baba was compassionate with the very poor.
Mhm.
The street is gone. Sunilji, if you
Yeah,
can,
yeah, I know. Just a moment. Sorry. Yeah.
no issues, no issues. So I just this came to my mind. I sharing that the purpose of life is to realize God within ourselves. This can be done while running to our worldly duties. In everyday walks of life and amidst intense activities, we should feel detached and dedicate our doings to our beloved God.
Sorry.
Enough has been done to make people food minded. They must now become they, they must now be made God minded. The downtrodden and the poor must be made to understand that from the spiritual point of view, their misfortunes and miseries could be made weapons for the struggle for truth. They should feel that these miseries can be counted as gifts from God, and if faced bravely and cheerfully, even the and if faced bravely and cheerfully, can become the gateway to eternal happiness. I give my love and blessings to one and all for the understanding of the one infinite God residing equally within us all and beside whom everything else is false and illusory. Any comments or observations? Okay, I'll continue. After the reading of these messages, Baba addressed the assembly of peoples. I feel both one with you as well as one of you. The purpose of my coming here will be served if you try to follow the two messages that have been read out to you. At the close of the program, the silent one stood up and blessed the students. His blessings were received in total silence. As he got down from the dais to his car, the students reverentially stood up and made a way for him. With a loving goodbye and perhaps with a mischievous glance at Niranjan Singh, Baba got in the car and left for Kane's house. On this day in the morning, Baba had been pleased to attend. Just raised the reception held in his honor by the Delhi branch of the Theosophical Society of India. It was very well arranged and was also well attended by prominent persons of the metropolis. One of Baba's special fiery free life messages, Life Eternal, was read out at the function.
Sanjay ji, were you saying something? No, I thought I
No,
heard
no,
her.
no, no.
Yeah, okay.
On December 3rd in the morning, a public darshan was arranged at Indranagar, which was then one of the colonies for the refugees who had come to India after its partition in 1947. Here, Sant Kripal Singh of Ruhani Satsang welcomed Baba and introduced some of his followers to him. In the evening, Baba visited Delhi University, the Arts Faculty building. This meeting was attended by several distinguished foreigners, including Americans and Chinese, among others. Baba dictated the following from his board, which was read out on his behalf.
Sorry.
The purpose of life is to realize oneness with the infinite. This can be achieved through love for God. Infinite love makes us true to ourselves and to others. It makes us love honestly, comprehending that God Himself is infinite honesty. Divine love is the solution to all our difficulties. It frees us from all cares and worries. It makes us speak truly, think truly, and act truly. Divine love purifies one's Divine love purifies one's heart. I give my love and blessings. This was the last day of Baba's stay in Delhi, so the Kanes gave a farewell party for Baba and his mandali at their house. Baba was in a good mood and distributed prasad with both hands, perhaps as a sign of the fullness of his giving. That night, Baba lovers, please raise it up.
Yeah,
Screen.
sorry.
It's okay, absolutely. Don't gather at the railway station to give Baba a hearty send off. The train, the Pathankot Express, left Delhi at 10 p.m. Don't imitate me, love me. From Delhi, Baba went to Mehrazad, arriving on December 5th. In spite of having walked considerably more than was anticipated during his visits in the districts of Hamirpur and Delhi, Baba's injured leg had not proved to be a problem, but he developed a severe cold on his arrival at Mehrazad, which gave him a terrible time. He also felt tired, but on Adi's arrival, he finalized the details of his visit to Kuldabad. He wished to go there on December 12th and instructed Adi to make reservations at the Dak Bungalow or a government guest house for a period of 1 week. Kuldabad is a small, underdeveloped village 84 miles to the northeast of Ahmednagar. Its importance lies in the large number of shrines and dargahs of saintly personalities which abound in the vicinity. The simple villages have a spiritual heritage indeed. Ali Shah, also known as Babji, a must residing at Mehrabad, was brought one day for Baba's work. He was with Baba for some hours and then he was sent back. In the mail, there was a letter from one of Baba's people at Nagpur. As the programmers of that city had not literally observed Baba's instructions, he had cancelled his visit there. However, the dates fixed for his public darshan at Amravati and Saoner remained unchanged. On December 12th, Baba left for Hyderabad in Adi's car with Adi driving. Baba was sitting in the front seat and would often ask Adi to drive faster. Near Loni, a small village, a group of women were hurriedly crossing the road. One girl was slightly hit by Adi's car while crossing to the other side. Baba signaled Adi to stop. The injured girl was put in the car and then taken to the hospital for treatment. She soon regained consciousness, and the doctors reported that within a few days she would be her normal self. Ahmedabad, with its spiritual background, is a place of pilgrimage for Hindus and Muslims alike. On the second day of his stay, Baba visited many shrines and dargahs to offer his respects to the saints and masters. First, either in Urdu or Marathi, translation of the prayer of repentance given by Baba on November 8th, 1952 at Mehrabad, be read out by one of the Baba's disciples. In the dargahs, in addition, Ramji would recite the Fatiha, a prayer comprised of the opening lines of the Quran, and Baba would join him in silence in his act of offering namaz. I think that should be namaz anyway. At every place, at the end of his visit, Baba would put his forehead on the edge of the shrine. He would also direct someone with him to place some silver coins in the tomb of Samadhi and would leave the inner chamber with backward steps until he reached the entrance. Baba was busy with his. Read again. Baba was busy with his program for about 4 hours in the morning. On his return to the guest house, he conveyed to one of his dear ones who was allowed to accompany him during his visits. Today he saw me bowing down and offering prayers at so many places. But remember one thing, on your return home, do not start off on a round of paying visits to shrines and some samadhis. Don't imitate me. Love me. Do what I tell you to do. In fact, imitation of any kind, however small or insignificant, distorts the beauty of spiritual life. However, if others label one's sincere way of living as imitation, one should not worry. What matters most is wholehearted honesty. The place of foremost spiritual importance at Khulabad is the shrine of Zarzari Zarbaksh, literally the giver of wealth. In the early 20s, Baba had told the Malli that Zarzari Zarbaksh was the Sadguru of Sai Baba. It was through his grace, operating over a span of centuries, that Sai Baba gained the experience of God realization. Besides the old and spacious dargah of Sazari Zarbaks, Baba visited the large dargah of Zianuddin Shiraji. Coincidentally, it was the day of a yearly fair held in honor of Shiraji. So thousands of people had gathered at Khulabad, were unknowingly blessed by the avatar's physical presence. I am what I am. The guest house at Khulabad is an old fashioned but fine building with a nice garden. It is on the edge of a hill overlooking the entire area around the Ellora caves. But the Mandli had no time to derive pleasure from such a spectacular landscape. The world famous rock hewn temples of Ellora were just a mile or two away, but none visited them. And since they were with Baba, it was quite likely that no one even thought of doing so. To give an idea of the time the Mandli spent with Baba at Khulabad, I quote below some paragraphs from Ramju's article. He had accompanied Baba during this tour. For Baba's men, this trip was a very tiring and exacting. Sunilji, can you please raise
Yeah,
the
sorry.
time both physically and mentally? To begin with, there was no breakfast, only tea in the mornings, and two daily meals consist of simply cooked dal and rice at 11 a.m. and bread and some vegetables at 6 p.m. Turn by turn, they had to keep awake in pairs each night, and as they were not permitted to sleep during the day, it happened that two of them each day remained without sleep for a stretch of about 40 hours. During the day, they were formed into different groups, and each one entrusted with sufficient work to do, keep him busy from 5 in the morning till night at 9. Till 9 at night. Baba would call his men together for about an hour every evening after sunset, when he would listen to and himself tell stories and events concerning men of God. He was more interested in anecdotes of great devotees than those of great masters. He liked best the narratives of love and faith of
Devoted to God.
those devoted
Like,
to God or their masters and wonders born out of such devotion. He would then ask some of his men to pray to God on his behalf, according to their respective religions, at which time he too appeared to be praying with great devotion. Finally, he would place his forehead on the feet of each of his disciples as they passed before him in rapid succession, they having been previously instructed to wash their feet. Preparing the men for his ordeal, Baba told them on the first day, don't try to understand the why and wherefore of my work. Do as I say. When I touch your feet, try to imagine yourselves to be just stones. During his short period, During this short period, Baba was more than ever the devotee as well as the master, playing both these roles to perfection. When approached about it, he would invariably say, I am what I am. The footnote 84. Sunji, you would like to? Yeah. Uh, the Awakener, Volume 1, Number 2, page, pages 23, 24, 1953. Temporary relief and perfect hope. On December 16th, some poor and needy people, Hindus and Muslims, were brought to Baba. 25 Hindus were gathered at the guest house, and 40 Muslims were assembled at the dargah of Shah Hussain, father of the renowned perfect master of Gulbarga, Banda Nawaz. As usual, Baba's service to the poor was done in his own quiet way. In the company of the mandali, he later remarked, "My bowing down to the poor is an entirely different thing than your act of bowing. It is godhood bowing down to God. खुदा को लेकर खुदा को झुकता हूँ." Then he explained a subtle difference between relief and his help. He used different languages while commenting on this subject, and the gist of it as follows. You feel sorry to see a beggar, an injured or diseased person, or someone in a miserable predicament, and naturally you're prompted to do something to relieve the person from his her suffering. But this gives the person only temporary relief. The real remedy, however, is primarily to awaken in others the spirit of accepting suffering as part of one's karma. People should not fear while overcoming it, they should develop a proper understanding of it. This is the beginning of real happiness. However, this act of awakening perfect hope in the heart of others is bestowed only by the realized ones. This does not mean that you should not feel distressed for the poor
Poor.
and afflicted. However, whatever is done in response to one's honest feelings should be done in a spirit of selfless service. On December 17th, Baba left for Aurangabad, where he stayed for 2 days in a dark bungalow. The same day, he visited Daulatabad Fort. This fort is situated 9 miles to the northwest of Aurangabad. The topography of the area made the fort impregnable, and in the 12th century of the Yadavas who ruled the Deccan made Devgiri, Daulatabad, their capital. At present, the fort is in ruins. In and around the fort are shrines of saintly people, and in addition, there is the Samadhi of Janardhan Swami, the Sadguru of the erudite poet and Mahasyan perfect master Eknath. The next day, Baba went into the city of Aurangabad to contact Mas. The Mandali hired a taxi, but unfortunately it broke down in the crowded market. Some people recognized Baba. The word spread, and although Baba wanted to remain incognito, he had to accept the homage of those who hurried to the car. When he returned to his residence, the Mandali noticed that a clerk from the district court had come to request that Baba permit a small darshan program in the evening, to which Baba agreed. A good number of people, including some government officers, availed themselves of this unexpected chance to see Baba.
Anybody else wants to read, or Ashokji, you want to continue, or I can read if you're.
No, it's okay. You can read. No, no issues.
We are
Um,
almost
We are almost there as per the
yeah,
schedule. So maybe a page or
we're
two.
almost there. Yeah, actually,
Shall
yeah.
I?
Yeah, Baba.
Yeah, please. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, it's around 7 8 minutes. Dr. Ranade had helped Adi in making Baba's lodging arrangements at Kuldabad and Aurangabad. His maternal uncle said to Baba, "I am going to retire soon and I intend to settle down somewhere near Hardwar in the Himalayas. I wish to lead a secluded life dedicated to God." Baba gestured. These places, Hardwar and Rishikesh, have grown into big cities and you won't find a peaceful atmosphere there. Inform me when you retire. I will tell you what to do. Baba's presence in the city was widely known now. and so he decided to leave Aurangabad the next morning. Unusual condition for a day's stay. The following morning, Baba boarded a train for Manmad. The Mandali got into a third class compartment, but it was already overcrowded. Hence, it was decided that Baba should travel by second class. As Baba got into a second class compartment with Erich, he now noticed there was another person in it. Baba conveyed to Erich, if this man is going to be on my chest until Manmad, I would prefer to travel in third class compartment with a crowd of people, of 50 people, as that in that case their attention would be divided and not focused on me. The train moved on, and some minutes later, the man quietly approached Baba and took his darshan. This was the appropriate time to suggest that the fellow traveler change his compartment at the next station and leave Baba alone for his work. The man readily agreed, and no one else got in the compartment until the end of the journey. When the train was passing through the extensive railway yard at Manmad, Baba pointed at a bungalow with a fascinating garden and casually gestured to Arash. Nice, perhaps the best in Manmad. Soon the train stopped and all got down at the station. They were to leave for Amravati via Badnera by the evening train. So Baba sent out two of the Mandali to find a secluded accommodation for him for the rest of the day. The dark bungalow and the rest of the Central Railway were already booked. The dark bungalow and the rest house of the Central Railway were already booked. So as a last resort, Erich approached the resident engineer of the railways, who was a North Indian, and requested his help. In the beginning, he expressed his inability to do anything, but in the end, he said, my family members are not here, and if you don't mind accommodating yourselves on the veranda of my bungalow, you can go and stay there. Baba thanked him, the engineer added, but I have to ask my elder brother about it. He has his own ways of deciding such things. We'll let you know of our decision. When Baba was apprised of the talk, he agreed to go there on the condition that the resident engineer, whose name was Chunilal, did not visit his home while Baba was there. This was indeed a strange stipulation, depriving the owner of the right to visit his own house. But even more surprising was the fact that when Neeraj told Chunilal the condition, he willingly agreed to abide by it. Perhaps intuitively, he might have felt that the one who could dictate such terms must be someone great. Edge got the bungalow's number and location, and he took Baba there. On reaching it, he found that it was the same bungalow that Baba had pointed to him before the train stopped at Manwag. As they arrived, however, they saw Chunilal opening a door to the main hall. Baba called him and gestured, how is that you are here? It is against the condition that you agreed upon. Chunilal replied, I have come to unlock the doors. Baba added, why open the rooms? I am going to stay on the veranda. Do you know who I am? People call me Mayor Baba. It is your great fortune that I have come here. Chunilal was immensely impressed with Baba's presence and requested him to stay inside the house. He also asked Baba's permission to arrange for his meals. In response to Chunilal's repeated request, Baba agreed to step into his living room and to have tea with him. In the living room, there were large pictures of Rama and Hanuman. Evidently, Chunilal was a great devotee of Rama, but he did not know that Rama had come as Meher Baba. Baba did not change his decision to stay on the veranda. The engineer instructed his servants to attend the needs of his guests, and then left for his office. Elish had put things on the veranda. Baba looked so relaxed that he gestured. I am reminded of my stay in Jal Kerawala's house. Sometimes after lunch, Baba wished to have his tea. The servant gave the mandali sugar and milk, but the tea leaves were locked up. Chunilal came at 2:30 p.m. and Baba conveyed to him, I've already had my tea. It was prepared with your sugar and our tea leaves. The engineer answered, I'm sorry, I did not know that you would have tea so early. Baba told him not to worry and added, you remind me of one of my disciples, Jal Kerawala, who was a class 1 government officer. He also had the habit of keeping his tin of tea locked up. Baba, however, allowed Chunilal to be with him for some time on the veranda. At sundown, Baba went to the railway station and left with Mandali by the evening train for Badnera.
Shall we stop here? It's time.
Yeah. Uh,
Thank you.
Jay Baba, I just want to add
Jai
that
Baba.
Amravati, Badnera, and my son was doing his course in Yatmal. So these are all very
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and in the, and Jal Kerawala, his home is in Mehrabad, right?
Dalkara used to stay in Mehrabad, in Pune. I've been to his home. The one who wrote the book Kabir, right?
No,
His
that is
daughter was Arjani.
no, that is yeah. One who wrote the book is Sam Kerawala.
Okay. Sorry.
I have the book. It's a beautiful book where the verses and the duhas of Kabir are
Yeah.
dealt and explained in English. It's a good book. I have a signed copy by him.
Jai Baba.
Jay
Yeah.
Baba. Thank
Thank you.
you, Sunilji, for moderating.
Thank you. I'm not a great moderator, but I tried. Uh,
And
not very perfect like
I
Jai
just want to
Baba.
Gandhi,
say that you
but I
did it in
tried. Yeah.
I just want to say that you did it in Baba's love, and he will pardon anything which went wrong, even
Thank
if
you.
my reading was wrong or something. I just and what the key takeaways in all this is that we are not we have to go away from all karma kanda or religious, you know, uh, religious ceremonies, and only love, divine love prevails for Baba. Is what I
Jai
could
Baba.
Jai
take as
Jai
a
Baba.
Baba.
Jai
Jai
Baba.
Yeah,
Jai
yeah.
Baba.
Incidentally, before coming to Baba, I have been to Badnera and Amravati in my college days for a youth